Within the righteous Heavenly Alliance, a tense conversation was unfolding. A voice asked what had happened, lamenting that they had been unable to track their enemies. The pavilion leader, sipping his tea, questioned calmly, "Is it really that difficult?" Clan head Jeonpyung, leader of the Beggar Sex Dragon clan, admitted that it was. He confessed he had never felt so lost since becoming clan head. Yet, he hinted that he might have an idea about who was responsible. The pavilion leader leaned forward with interest. "An idea, you say?" Jeonpyung explained that while the Beggar Sex intelligence network was unmatched, there were other organizations in Murim that rivaled them. He couldn't give a definite answer, but he narrowed it down to 3 suspects. It was least likely to be the Steel Blood Fortress or the Shadow Mist Troop. Instead, it was far more likely that the hidden pavilion of the demonic cult was involved. He reasoned that although the Steel Blood Fortress was powerful, they lacked the structure and efficiency of either the demonic cult or the righteous Heavenly Alliance. The demonic cult, on the other hand, was one of the 3 great forces of Murim, an organization built on dangerous precision. If forced to choose, Jeonpyung admitted he would place his bet on them. The pavilion leader's eyes narrowed. "Are you suggesting the demonic cult has already gotten involved?" Jeonpyung replied that it was not impossible, but he raised another troubling possibility: the house sect. The pavilion leader frowned. He knew the house sect was skilled, but he questioned what would make them interfere in a matter of this scale. Jeonpyung countered with a simple question: "And what makes you so sure they wouldn't?" The pavilion leader argued that the house sect had survived for so long precisely because they avoided entanglement in great conflicts. If they had suddenly chosen to involve themselves now, it would make them even harder to catch. Still, he doubted they would risk working with the Ice Palace, the group suspected of abducting the Mount Hua and Zhongnan sect leaders. That would be foolish, he said. But Jeonpyung wasn't convinced. If the house sect was manipulating the flow of information, then the culprits could not be acting alone. He suggested it was far more likely they were working alongside larger powers, perhaps both the Steel Blood Fortress and the demonic cult. This was too vast a scheme for the Ice Palace to orchestrate by itself. The pavilion leader concluded grimly, then it must be the demonic cult. After all, they kidnapped the Steel Blood Fortress leader's mistress. That man is not patient nor forgiving. He would never ally with those who wronged him. Investigate further. I will ensure your safety. Do not hesitate. Elsewhere, inside a moving carriage, the 3rd prince sat deep in thought. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and asked sharply, "Why are you staring at me?" Startled, the lady traveling with him turned away flustered. She claimed she was only looking at his face. When pressed for a reason, she admitted, half embarrassed, that she found him handsome, surely the type who had broken countless hearts. The prince dismissed the idea coldly. He said he had no time for such things. Survival was all that mattered to him. The lady pouted in silence, crossing her arms. In her thoughts, however, she grumbled to herself, as expected, "He's not interested in love. Why am I even upset about that? No, I don't care, not at all." The journey brought them to a waterfall deep in the mountains. With him were his 3 companions. Dunkel muttered, "So this is where the Steel Blood Fortress leader resides." From behind the waterfall, a man appeared. He announced that he had received a letter from the house sect predicting their arrival at noon. The timing had been flawless. The prince was startled. He hadn't even sensed the man's presence. Only then did he realize a massive formation array surrounded the area, so advanced that even he had failed to detect it. The man introduced himself as Hwang-on, the Steel Blood Fortress general strategist. The prince recognized the name immediately. This was the infamous evil brain, a prodigy who had risen to strategist 2 years prior, replacing the former tactician who died of illness. Though younger than expected, his reputation for decisive strategies was well earned. Hwang-un explained that because of the array's restrictions, only 2 guests would be allowed inside. Hajin asked Yoren the lady if she wished to accompany him. She agreed, and together they entered. Inside they were greeted by a breathtaking view. Hajin wondered aloud if they were heading to a villa and questioned if it was wise to bring outsiders to such a hidden place. Hwang-un assured him not to worry, the place would vanish by tomorrow. When Hajin stopped near a stream, Hwang-un warned him crossing without permission would trigger the array, transforming the waters into a deadly swamp. Even the 10 great masters would struggle to escape it. Hajin acknowledged the strategist's brilliance, impressed that only 3 people had ever noticed the trap before. Yoren admired the scenery, calling it beautiful, though she recognized it was nothing but illusion. Hajin replied that illusions held no real value, but acknowledged their fleeting beauty nonetheless. When Yoren asked why he had chosen her to join him, Hajin simply said it was intuition, a feeling that she was the right choice over the others. Before the moment could settle, the air shifted. A chilling voice echoed through the valley, praising Hajin's sharp eyes for someone so young. A surge of murderous energy filled the air. Hajin's thoughts darkened. This was the man whose schemes had once contributed to his death. The figure stepped into view. It was Emperor Asura Songambek, the man known as one of the strongest in all of Murim, rivaled only by Dam Seong. Their eyes met, and the atmosphere turned heavy with killing intent.